If you're very fair and you got kinky hair, it's got to be straight. So that all of those kinds of things, elements, come into it. Now, if you know that that's the definition of being black, then you can figure out why a lot of other things about racist oppression that we're still dealing with and trying to cope with today. Because with that definition, it became necessary then to maintain white purity was then to protect white women. Why protect white women? How can you get pure whiteness? The only way to get pure whiteness is with a white woman mating with a white man.
Come on.
Right? Since it's by definition any drop made with black, and since white men were in control, they could then copulate all they wanted with black women, which they did. And all those children are defined as black by their definition, low caste. Now, if the white woman had gotten as much into producing black children as a white man did, and after a period of time, you would really affect the number of white children, say, being born. Say in South Africa, if they ended apartheid, there's 22 million black people and about 5 million whites. And they have laws on the books. See, all these anti-miscegenation laws have a rather real purpose to maintain white purity. So in South Africa, if they took those laws away, maybe in about 100 or 150 years, if the black male had access to the white woman, you would have no more white people in South Africa. So that's why the laws are so strict in trying to maintain the purity and white supremacist kinds of mentality and psychology in the country. And so here, the rallying cry always of the diehard segregationists, the genocidal segregationists, was always to protect what? Sacred white womanhood, not to protect sacred white manhood. And the question is, and still is, would you want your daughter to marry one? Not would you want your son to marry one? You want your daughter. Now, you can move from that and look at the whole history of the oppression. Then we can even begin to understand some of the problems that black men and black women have with each other today. Because the nature and the psychology of the oppression became very different for black men and black women. Because they were concerned with sacred white womanhood. So that then they had to establish a system to ensure that. So that then most of their efforts were focused on controlling black men. Not just for that. It's also that men in patriarchal societies like we're in fight the wars, and then the warriors and the soldiers and so on. Right? But we can take some common things. If I take the image of the black person who is bent over, shoulders up, who's docile, right? Who's shuffling, right? And scratching the head dumb. Who's that? Black woman? Allison? Is that a black female image? Not at all. It's totally black male image. Why do they have the black man bent over, shuffling, scratching his head? And being docile? Yes, yes. It's to emasculate him, right? And when they had to, they emasculated him literally by casting failure and string them up on trees and lynch. So you think of the extreme forms of oppression that say were genocidal and castrating and emasculating. A lot of it was primarily directed at black males. That kind of oppression. This is not to say it wasn't to some degree directed at black women. It was. But the prototype of black female oppression, is being raped. Right? For the black male, it's being lynched and murdered. Now, what's the stereotype, what's the classic stereotype about the black woman? Which comes to your head? Aunt Jemima? Beulah? And what is their image? Loud talking, lusty, and aggressive females. That tells you something right there. It tells you that aggression in black females was much more acceptable than it was in black males. So that when black males became aggressive, they would really move on black males. This is still true today. And that they are very fearful of aggressive image in black males, and much more acceptable of that image in black females. Females being aggressive. But not only that, it allowed the black female certain forms of expression, even in relationship to her oppression, that did not get her into trouble, and that even allowed her a certain kind of access that the black male didn't get. So that what I'm saying is that the socialization of the black male and black female is different in this then, and it's different now, taking on new forms. But we are paying a price for those kinds of sexual differences in racial etiquette, even today. Even today. One reason why black females aren't that interested in white males today as a group is because it was never forbidden to them. Young grew up in Mississippi, and I was in Mississippi, and this is when things were segregated. You could go into a black bar, in an all-black bar, and white men would come into the bar with their black girlfriends. And no one said a word. At the same time, that if a black male walked down the street with a white woman, they would kill him. But white males would treat black women right in black bars, sit and have drinks. Very, very acceptable. So that the whole interaction of the two groups, black males, black females, society, psychologically is very different. We could spend a lot of time talking about that and how it's affected the black family, how it's affected the movement of black males. You see, black males have benefited a lot from chauvinism. When the chauvinism, the male chauvinism, begins to disappear, you're going to see some flip-flop because of some serious things that happen in the socialization of black males that are leaving them behind. That is making it more difficult for them to adapt into the system. For instance, when you think of something like black English and rapping, who is that? Who do you associate that with? Black women? You associate black women with rapping as black men, right? Now suppose rapping or talking that way becomes dysfunctional. That is, it's dysfunctional to your academic achievement to talk that way. And black males are all doing it. And black females are not. They're in trouble, aren't they? Be socialized into rapping